All right, we'll get back to the Cowboys and the Texans. I want to stay with the transfer portal conversation that we're having right now because it's really interesting. The stat I gave earlier, and this is a stat that it's old now, so it probably has doubled by this number. But at the start of the transfer portal, I'm talking about when it obviously opened yesterday. There were 1,000 players that entered the transfer portal just yesterday when the portal opened officially. That shattered the previous single day record, which was, I believe, 775. So they're way over 1,000 players in the transfer portal now, and it is going to continue to break records. I mean, that's just it. I can't wait to see the last numbers, but they're going to be something mind blowing. And I think that's because every school's got to deal with it now. And even Texas, right? They're having their best season in the last 15 years. And Jalen Catalon's in the transfer portal and Xavier Bryson in the transfer portal. You got two safeties in the transfer portal. Strangely enough, where, you would think there'd be heavy competition, right? You got Jaron Thompson that's going to end up leaving. Keaton Crawford's going to end up leaving at safety. You got Taft and you got Derek Williams. But obviously with the rotation they have, there's playing time there, but guys are leaving. Guys want their opportunity to play elsewhere, greener pastures for a lot of green, straight cash homie, that kind of thing. So everybody's got to deal with attrition. And so there's, I think, healthy attrition and unhealthy attrition. I think the healthy attrition, and both of these takes, some documenting, and I think you got to track it. And thankfully, there are resources to do so. If your players that are leaving your program and they're dropping down in the level of competition. So you're at a Power 5 program like Texas, and the guys that are exiting your program are dropping down to Group of Fives and to FCS levels and Division 2 and Division 3 levels of play, then maybe your evaluations were way off. Because your players aren't coveted, they aren't wanted by other Power 5 programs. That's unhealthy attrition. That means you need to get those guys off your roster and churn out and upgrade your roster. If you have healthy attrition, to me, the healthy attrition would be the type of attrition where guys are leaving your program, but those athletes are coveted and they are considered athletes that could translate to another Power 5 program and end up playing and getting a lot of playing time. And for Texas last transfer portal cycle, they had a lot of healthy attrition. Last transfer portal cycle, nearly 60% of their players who transferred out went to other Power 5 schools. And you had nearly, if you go include the Group of 5, you had nearly 78% of your transfers from the last transfer cycle for Texas football that ended up in a Power 5 school or a Group of 5 school. That's good attrition. It's like, that bad cholesterol and good cholesterol. There's good attrition and bad attrition. That's good attrition. That means your guys, your evaluations weren't off. They weren't way off. You just wanted to upgrade that position and upgrade that roster. That probably wasn't the case in Sark's first year, but it was definitely the case last season. Honestly, it's kind of like, I always tell people this when I, hang out or get a chance to see any of my exes or something like that. I hope they're doing really well. Right? I root for them to do really well. I hope they're killing it at whatever job they have. Hope they got a great, beautiful family. Hope she got all the kids she wants and found a great man. I don't want to see my exes doing bad. Some people find satisfaction in their exes suffering or, being miserable or being unhappy. I don't. Right? I want my exes to be really successful because that tells me I had good taste. I had good evals, good evaluations. Hey, they didn't make it with me, but hey, they still found success in their job away from me. That means even the experience they had with me, it still was positive for them. Right. And like I said, hey, I like to know that my exes can go on to still become CEOs and can still be really successful in life. I don't want to see an ex is like, oh man, she went to jail because she stabbed one of her ex boyfriends. Like, I don't want to hear that story. That's not a good story for me. Right? No, that means my evaluation was off. That means I chose a crazy one that didn't have any prospects or ambition. No, I want my exes to still really do well. And I think you have the same approach if you're a Longhorn fan about the transfer portal. You want your exes to do really well because that's going to reflect well on you and your evaluation and your taste, all right, in those particular athletes and their experience with you, because that's your culture, right? Guys are leaving your program and going elsewhere, and they're, losing their love for the game or their passion for the game, or they don't have great football knowledge, so they're not coveted and not wanted by other programs, and they can't contribute to other Power 5 programs. To me, that reflects badly on your evaluations and bringing guys in, and you're not developing talent. So that's how I look at it, and this transfer portal cycle, I think you'll look at it the same way. Healthy attrition, unhealthy attrition, and every program is going to be a little bit different there. For Texas, I think they'll have a lot of healthy attrition because they have a really talented roster, one of the most talented rosters in the country.
Yeah.
That's my transfer portal take.
Yeah, and look, I think even with the Texas, right? I mean, Xavier Bryce was a kid out of Arlington that we hadn't seen much of the field, and as we talked about, don't be surprised on Monday if the Longhorns have some guys that you know the names that are in the portal that kind of can see where their playing time is going to not be there in the future, and you got players at his position coming in, another crop of highly recruited freshmen are coming in. Sark and his staff have shown they will play young guys. But I think the guy like Xavier Bryce is a healthy example of the transfer portal that, he's a year, redshirt freshman, so he's 2 years into his experience and he hadn't played much. And now Longhorns are still in pursuit of a 5-star corner in Kobe Black, a 5-star safety and Xavier Filsame, and they're not going to stop bringing in good players. And he can go find a spot to play. There's a lot of Division I programs, and we'll see. That's a good thing. He wants to play. I mean, if you went to Texas, which you did, and all of a sudden you're looking up and you're not playing.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody wants to go to the NFL, but you can't go to the NFL if you don't get to play at the college level.
And even if you don't you still want to play college football if you have the ability somewhere. And I think look, are there negatives to the transfer portal? Sure. But we got a guy texting me saying that, are you paying attention to how this is killing the sport of college football?
Is it?
Yeah, I'm like, well,
is it really?
That's what I said to him. What's your evidence it's killing the sport?
Yeah. Look at all the quarterbacks. Look at half your quarterbacks now in the college football playoff at the elite level are transfer portal quarterbacks. Quinn's a transfer portal quarterback. Michael Penix Jr., transfer portal quarterback. Michael Penix Jr. had 2 ACL injuries, all right, early on in his career. He got hurt 3 years in a row. Got hurt his freshman year, got hurt his sophomore year, and got hurt again, all right, the next year. And basically the Indiana program said, man, we can't depend on you. You are winning the starting job every offseason, but we got to move on. Because and so they moved on. But what was he supposed to do? He's like, yep, I'm a good player. I'm winning the starting job. I can't stay durable enough to make it through an entire season. Goes with Kalen DeBoer, finds his home at Washington, and win-win. I mean, Kalen DeBoer needs a quarterback. He was already familiar with him, and now, as long as he's healthy, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the country. That's the transfer portal allowed that to happen. He wouldn't have had that opportunity without the transfer portal.
No, agreed. And Adonai Mitchell for the Texas Longhorns was on the national championship team. Decided he wanted to come back home to Texas. He's got a young child and play for the Longhorns. I mean, that's not. Look, I understand. Words matter. You can't say it's killing the sport. You may not like it.
It's changing.
It may be different than you want it to be as a fan. It's changing your experience with the game. But there's no metric that tells you that anything is being killed in college football. The ratings have never been higher. No, stadiums are sold out across the country.
Yeah.
Have you seen the crowds for College Game Day and Fox Big Noon? It's never been more popular than this year. So I don't see the evidence that it's killing the game. You can be frustrated with it. Is it 100% healthy for the game? I think it still needs some more guidelines.
I was going to say
guardrails.
There you go.
And then I advocate for that.
That's on the NCAA more so than anything.
100%. Yeah. And then the combination of it and the NIL is obviously a huge challenge that everyone's trying to get their hands around. But is it really killing the game? I think that would be your individual opinion, and that's fine to have. We'll come back when we do, but there's got to be evidence that it's actually killing the game, because I don't know that's pretty strong.
Yeah, it is pretty strong. One more last little nugget. So we're talking about the transfer portal. When they tracked which FBS teams had the most outgoing transfers that they consider significant contributors at other FBS schools, that means at least 4 starts or 200-plus snaps in 2023, Texas was 3rd behind Florida and Mississippi. So Texas had the most outgoing transfers to contribute to other FBS programs. Healthy attrition.
Yeah, maybe it didn't fit your system, weren't
whatever
fit for your culture.
Yeah.
And they're going, as you said, playing.
They're going playing at other Power 5. At least most of them, like 60% of them, going to other Power 5 programs like Texas.
Well, this texter points out 3 of the 4 Heisman finalists are transfers this year.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't know if it's ruining. I think it's very different, and some people just don't like that kind of change.
Absolutely,
and I understand that.